Hey, what's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to another live stream. The last one went well enough that I figured I would try this one again this week. So we are just doing the typical sort of troubleshooting here, just to make sure everything goes according to plan. So by all means, follow along here. I will try to monitor the screen as best I can. Unfortunately, my devices are all over the map here when it comes to stuff I can actually use for it. So we will just get started, I suppose. Yeah, so this week going to be working on a little bit more of the Lord of the Rings models here. Going to start actually by assembling a troll. And God, love this model. I love just how much comes with this thing. But anyway, yeah, so just figure as we assemble it, maybe just chat briefly about some of the things that have come up and whatnot. You know, I asked for a couple questions and thoughts that some people might want to hear about. So I will work my way through those as best as I can. Let me just see if I can fix the lighting here. Yeah, I'm just... yeah, the lighting, for some reason, I'm getting a lot of shadows. I'm not sure why. Especially down at the bottom of the screen there. That's odd. So, yeah, just going to keep working on this. I've been doing a lot of research into the Lord of the Rings, just in general, and what is entailed with the game. And I gotta say, like, I'm liking a lot of what I'm seeing. I just excuse that thing going off on the side there, just putting up the instructions. And I gotta say, I really kind of wish that I'd gone into this game more when it first came out. Because quite frankly, it actually has quite a bit more to offer. And I'm not sure if that's more something that was changed with the new edition, or if this is something that has always kind of been the case. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I like a lot of what it has to offer as far as the game goes, and I'm really kind of looking forward to getting it on the table, getting these orcs on the table, the Morannon orcs, as well as the troll and the Nazgul and all that sort of stuff. So really cool things. So in the meantime, just while I keep chatting, yeah, I figured to start off with one of the questions that was asked. I think it was Leland. Oh, I'm going to pronounce this wrong. I think it was like Leland that asked it, and he was wondering what my thoughts on people who paint shame. And for anyone, it's pretty self-explanatory, but for anyone who might not be entirely sure about what paint shaming is, basically it's this idea of somebody sharing some painted work and maybe it not being up to par or up to snuff, or maybe they're very new to the hobby, so they're not quite using as many new techniques or using all the tools they have to their advantage, and the idea is basically just kind of shaming them for it, just maybe being a bit derisive of it, or just dismissive and just ignoring the work completely that they've done, while completely ignoring the fact that this might be one of the first paint jobs, might be one of the first things they put together. And I gotta say, it's an element of the hobby that I'm glad I don't see very often. But having said that, we see it when it does pop up. I hate seeing it. And a lot of this comes down to the fact that everyone at some time or another started off. Might not have started off with hobby models, but they started off with painting and art somewhere along the way. And not everyone came into this as a fully molded, fully developed painter. And by the way, all I'm doing here is I'm just going to clear out the glue in my plastic glue here. But not everyone started off as a great painter. Not everyone started off knowing all the tips and tricks. Every so often you get somebody sharing something like, oh, this is my first paint job. And you have to look at it and go, well, awesome, it's a great paint job. Is it really your first type of thing? But those are fewer and far between. But generally speaking, I think as a community, we are generally pretty welcoming, pretty supportive of people getting into the hobby. Thankfully, we don't see nearly as much of the shaming as we otherwise would. Now, of course, you can go to some places, and I wouldn't even recommend going to the Cool Mini or not paint rankings and whatnot. Those are just insane. I've seen some absolutely stellar paint jobs, and people are like, no, you're missing this here. You should do this here. And paint jobs that would otherwise maybe be like tournament winning paint jobs. People are criticizing it left, right, and center, basically calling it one of the worst things ever. And there's a lot of ego involved on that one, and it's just not that nice. Which is, I mean, it is what it is. But ooh, that fits nicely. And yeah, that's just sort of a reality, I guess. But my feeling is that I will always try to encourage people as best I can. Partly because, I mean, I am a decent painter. I'm not a great painter. I'm a decent painter. I definitely am happy with a lot of the stuff that I have. I definitely feel like I can improve. But for the most part, I'm decent, and I want to see other people enjoy the hobby a lot more as well. I want to see others get involved with the hobby, enjoy building, enjoy painting, enjoy playing, and all this is predicated on being able to actually like what you're doing, right? And that's kind of the big thing there. It's so important that you like what you're doing. So, all right, so we got the body of the cave troll, or the Mordo Troll put together here. So let's see what's next. Let's see here. I think what we're going to do, because I have absolutely no idea on which weapons are the best weapons, I'm going to give him a sword. Swords are nice and simple. So let's see, we'll just cut that off here. Get that ready to go. So we'll get that sword ready. What else do we got? Let's get the head ready as well, I guess. Let's see, let's choose a head. Yeah, I really dig this head right there. So we are going to go with this head here with the giant metal flange thingy on the top there. And we're going to use him. So let's see, what else do we got here? So we got the head, we got the sword. Let's see, we need another arm on here. So let's see here. Let's go with the come at me bro arm here. So we'll just get that one cut out and ready to go. There we go. And I think that's everything from that sprue. So let us just put this away here. All right, so that's away. And let's get the shield ready to go, because that is an awesome shield. So yeah, just some other things that have been going on with the hobby world. Obviously, we just saw the Kill Team Weekender come by, which always kind of cool to see that hit. Simply because it's well, not so much the Kill Team Weekender, but just in general any sort of weekend event from Games Workshop is always really cool to see. Just because we inevitably see some neat stuff come out. And in this particular case, we saw them expanding a little bit on Kill Team. So they've given us some more details and data on the Commander's expansion, which looks to be just adding some extra flair to our kill teams. Commanders who bring in some expertise, some specializations. And it looks like for the most part, they got some cool releases coming up for it. I'll be interested to see what the full list of stratagems and abilities that they bring to the table are. But the other thing that they revealed was another battlefield, battle zone, or kill team zone, or whatever those are actually called. And that one's kind of neat as well, because it looks like it's going to become with some Imperial trenches. So neat to see those as well. And what is that? I think it's like the battlefield in a box or something like that they're calling it. But kind of neat to see that hit as well. It's always great to see more and more content coming out for for the games, especially when they can be translated over to the game proper. Because I think Kill Team makes for an excellent entry-level game. You only have to jump in there. You only have to buy, one or two kits, so it's not too difficult. And you can basically play the game and start learning some of the core basics of 40K. Obviously, you'll have to make some adjustments as you go with as you adjust into 40K proper. But it's an excellent entry level game that scales. So far from what I've seen, it scales rather well upwards as well. So, you can make it more simple, you can make it more complex, and just in general, it offers some nice flexibility in that regard. So yeah, I'm really happy to see that continue to be supported. I love the fact that we're seeing some official campaign support, tournament support for it. If anyone hasn't seen it yet, Games Workshop has been sending out like these neat little campaign packets out to various local game stores and whatnot that actually have some really neat winning prizes. Like the medallions are really kind of cool. So yeah, it's really nice to see this level of support hitting on Kill Team. Because anything that helps grow the hobby, I think, is wonderful. We are for the most part, we're quite a wonderful hobby group, but we are an aging hobby group as well, and we need to do some things to attract some of the younger players. We want to be able to have that next generation of people playing the game with us. We don't want us to be the last generation, as it were. So it's always important that we bring in new gamers. And I think that is one reason why they focus so much on Space Marines. And, there we go. There we go. Because Space Marines are easy to build, easy to paint, easy to play. They're for the most part, they're quite forgiving on how you play Space Marines. And I think as a result, it just makes for an easier point of entry for new gamers. And that is huge right there. You need to have that ease of entry. Which also, I mean, it goes back to something I was talking about on last week's live stream as well, where we have these. I just realized I forgot to cut off an arm for this guy. Where we have these. Let's see which one of these is the right arm. We have these new starter boxes, which are doing some great things for bringing people into the game, because they're giving you everything you need to play virtually out of the box, it's fantastic. It's great. Yeah. So, and on that note, they just released a teaser for another box set. This one with Primaris Marines and Eldar, which really kind of cool. I know a lot of people are kind of complaining about the addition of more Primaris Marines, and I understand it to a point, but at the same time, remember that these starter sets aren't technically being made for veterans of the game. These things are more designed for new people to get into the game. It just so happens that as veterans, we love a good deal, and we love to see more affordable content make its way out. So let's see here. There's something interesting about this plastic. It doesn't quite seem to be... Oh, that looks a little ridiculous. I got to get rid of the come at me bro arm there. This plastic doesn't seem to be as accepting of the glue as it normally would be. I'm not entirely sure why that might be. I don't know if it's something to do with the releasing agent, if the plastic is a little bit different than what we get on the typical Games Workshop stuff. But it just seems a little off. And I don't know if I think that might be the wrong arm here. Alright. Let's see here. got to do something here. So, okay, so I think we got the right arm here. So let us use this arm here, and we will affix the shield to it as soon as it's glued on. Never would have figured building a cave troll or a Mordo Troll would have been this complex, but hey, there we go. So let's just get this flash cleaned off. Get rid of some of the mold lines. Yeah. Stubborn piece. Alright. So there we go. So something else that I've seen a lot of people talking about lately has just been the way the lore of the 40k universes has been progressing. And I have to admit, I haven't kept up on the lore as much as I used to. I used to be a lot more engaged with it. It's funny, the more I play in the game, the less I seem to... oh, hey guys. The less I seem to keep up on the lore, which is kind of funny. When the less I'm playing, the more lore I'm actively reading. But yeah, so we've been seeing lots of hints and nods to Primarchs coming back in 40k. And I think this is kind of a mixed bag of good and bad. I think they can do some really interesting things. I'm a little concerned that they might be trying to turn it into, Horus Heresy 2.0 with all the Primarchs coming back. So far, I have to say, I really like the fact that we've seen more of the Demon Primarchs come back, the Chaos Primarchs, as opposed to the Loyalists. I love the fact that we are seeing work faster. You work faster! Challenge how fast I can assemble all your stuff. Oh yeah. I should make a good clip on this. But oh, there you go. You made me lose my train of thought. Jeez. All right. So work faster, eh? Yeah. This is a troll. It should be done by now. I agree. I had to replace the arm once or twice already, and this lousy glue's not coming out. There we go. I love the plastic glue, but sometimes that bottle is obnoxiously difficult to get anything out of. Alright. Oh, there we go. There we go. We got the cave troll. And let's, not going to glue him to the base, but just going to put him right there for now, and he's going to topple over, so we're going to put him back now. So, yeah. So that's the troll. So, let's see. What do we want to do next here? Nazgul? Yeah, Fellbeast and a Nazgul, I think. So let us get this put together here. And let's see. Let us start with, I guess, the head. Yeah, okay, I guess we're starting with the head here. All right. Kind of wish I mapped this out a little bit better. Yeah, the model's actually really cool. Just in general, the Lord of the Rings models have actually been rather impressive. I dig them quite a bit. And again, I'm really kind of disappointed that I did not come to the game sooner. Even though I was always kind of impressed with a lot of the rank and file style troops and whatnot. I remember the release of the first elves when the game first came out. And I was always really impressed by those guys. So let's see here. Do I have the right piece? What is this piece I'm looking at here? I think I'm looking at a tail or something? Okay, I'm looking at the wrong head here. I cut off the wrong... Alright, well, that serves me. Okay, so this is actually a great talking point right here. I really appreciate how some of the newer Games Workshop sprues all have numbers attached to them. I know a bunch of us are all more veteran gamers and assemblers and all that sort of stuff. But honestly, sometimes the simplicity of just having a number telling you what piece goes with what is just very welcome. Just because it makes things so much easier to deal with than, just doing a bit of guesswork. So, by the way, if you guys don't have it, this is the mold line remover from Games Workshop. It is a fantastic tool. I have both this one and the small little portable one. And honestly, it has kept me from gouging so much pieces out of my kits so far. So honestly, it is worth it to pick up. It will save you a bunch of time in the grand scheme of things. I like it. So, all right. So there we go. Get the head or the neck piece ready here. So, all right. But yeah, so going back to what I was talking about in regards to the expanding lore and fluff of the 40k Primarchs. Yeah, as I was saying, I really like the fact that so far we have only seen Gimon, however you pronounce his name. I'm glad we've only seen him come back so far. That's not to say I would not like to see some others, because I think it would be great to see, Russ and Dorn. But I think as far as the 40k Primarch, or the Loyalist Primarchs, I think they should actually keep it to a minimum. I think in this case, this very much is an instance of less is more. And the fewer 40k Primarchs we see, I think the better. And just come back with some of the big hitters and whatnot, some of the really big names, more than anything else. So, all right. So let's get this Fellbeast put together here. Okay. I'm definitely feeling the age of these kits here. I don't see a year on this particular sprue, but I think this is still one of the older kits, probably early or mid 2000s, and I'm definitely feeling it. It is a little bit tougher to work with than some of the newer ones. So okay, so let's see here. So we got to assemble the head. So let's see how this works here. So I guess the round pegs here. Okay, so I guess these little pegs are the bit. Okay, so that kind of works nicely. So let's get the glue down here. If I can ever get the glue wound. Probably on the verge of having to replace this thing. Come on. Come on. So while I'm fighting with glue here, I figure maybe let's talk about some other stuff here. Let's touch on this whole Warhammer Conquest, Warhammer Heroes thing. Because I think that's kind of an interesting one. I think that's I think Conquest itself is an amazing sales tool to get people into the game. And I don't think I have any glue left in here. Maybe I just got to clean it out again. And I think it's absolutely fantastic. But some of the things we've been seeing with Conquest is just absolutely insane. Oh, geez, yeah, look at all that glue burn off. I mean, seeing these people who are going and buying like 10, 15, 20 copies of Conquest, effectively just trying to buy something that's designed to introduce new people into the game is ridiculous. To the point where I almost feel like is a couple free Primaris Marines or Death Guard Marines like really that big of a deal for you that you need to go and take? Oh, holy crap, that's hot. Serves me right. Just touch hot metal with my bare fingers. But yeah, these people are going out. They're buying these sets here that are designed to get new people into the game, and they're buying it in such mass quantities that you just have to wonder where their head is really at with it, because it feels like this is so unnecessary for them. They don't need these sets, but they buy them up, and they as a result they end up depriving a whole bunch of people from being able to grab the sets themselves. And again, it goes back to this idea of trying to bring people into the hobby. And I have to admit, it's one of the elements of the hobby that definitely does not seem all that welcoming, which is really unfortunate because during my time at Mini Wargaming, I had the good fortune to meet people all over the world involved with this hobby. And it was one of the coolest things ever to be able to engage in the hobby with these people. and feel their excitement and see how they were just excited about their armies, their paint jobs, and all that sort of stuff. And to think that with what's happening here, these tools designed to engage new people into the hobby, being taken up by various veterans and whatnot. And I don't want to say all of the veterans, because this is definitely not everyone, but yeah, Rob, you are absolutely right. Sometimes some people can be the worst elements of the hobby, and I mean, got to take that for what it is, because they're also some of the best parts of the hobby for sure. No, not just you, Rob, just you. I know you, but no, you're absolutely right. I mean, if there's anything that turns anyone off of the game, it's going to be a bad experience with another person in the hobby. More often than not. I mean, I will freely admit that there are some games I do not play because of the community. And that's not to say the games are bad, and that's not to say that the individuals are bad, but the mentality that comes along with that game and with that community are just, they're either not for me or just they're incompatible with me. It's one of the big reasons I never got into War Machine. The War Machine community is so hyper competitive that I never felt like I could keep up with it, and I never really felt like there was enough people who were willing to sort of humor a new player into the game, to the point where I never really felt like I was able to get those training wheels off. That's exactly the point I'm talking about. Like you get matched with too many rough people, too many hyper competitive people, no matter the game, and you're going to be turned off it. You're not going to want to play. Because, I mean, sure, it might be fun for the other person to win, but, coming in as a new player, you kind of have to get your own wins to really care about the game as well. And if you just keep running into somebody who decides to test out hyper competitive list number 13 and never really give you a run for the win itself, like, are you going to keep coming back to it, right? Because you're never going to feel like you're accomplishing anything. You're never going to feel like you're getting better or that you're getting good at the game. All you're going to know is that this group of people are just going to try and curb stomp you into the ground. And it's one reason why I definitely prefer to play more of the narrative style games, because I feel like there's more of the game to it. There's less need to constantly be the best. Instead, you and a friend are actively working to build something that's a little bit greater than the sum of its parts, and it just, in the end, it's more fun. Like, I love it. It's sitting down and crafting a story and figuring it all out, and going with the rule of cool more often than not. It's just a lot of fun. So, all right, so let's get this Fellbeast put together here. Oh, this glue. Yeah, I think this glue is on the way out. I'm fighting way too hard with it. I've seen people suggest other types of glue before. I think like tester's glue or something like that. I really need to take the time and try that out myself. And just see what it's like. Because the GW glue, it's expensive, and I find I fight with it more often than not. So, alright. So there we go. And there we go. So it looks like there's the torso done. So what is next? Looks like we're doing some legs now. So let's see here. Alright. Alright, talk to you later, Rob. Always nice to see you kick around. So, anyway, yeah, I mean, let's see, what's another good topic to talk about? Don't want to go into too much depth about anything just because of the nature of people kind of jumping in and out of the live stream. Let's talk about the ease of tools. One thing that I had to learn the hard way was the use of good tools. And I don't know why it was such a hard lesson for me to learn, but for the longest time, I did very little to ensure my tools were good tools. I would let my X-Acto knife blades get dull. I wouldn't use clippers. In fact, I wonder if I still have it. It's not as visible, but I got some mean scars right along the webbing of my hand from where I was doing a really amateur move and I was cutting a sprue towards me as opposed to away from me. And it ended up breaking right through the plastic on the sprue, got the webbing of the hand, bounced back, hit that area of my finger, and as I jerked it back out, got into the webbing again. and it just so happened to coincide with a phone call with the wife where she asked how I was doing, and I can't remember the exact comment, but I think I made some comment along the lines of, well, the bleeding is under control or something. This is when she was going up to school up in Toronto, so we weren't in the same town at that moment. But yeah, you gotta use the right tools. Gotta use good tools, because it can save you so much time with your hobbying. You will spend less time fighting with the model and more time actually getting it assembled and actually getting paint on it. And you'll find that the right tools, actually, things that might have seemed very difficult or at least frustrating, become so much easier. And I think it's a tool that can, or I think that's a mantra that can be applied virtually anywhere in life. The right tools will always make things easier, and it's just a matter of recognizing. Yeah, case in point, using the wrong tool right here. And it's just a matter of recognizing what the right tool is and when you need to use it. I'm not 100% sure here, but I have a sneaking suspicion that one of the reasons I was using the wrong tools for so long was more out of stubbornness than anything else. I didn't want to acknowledge that I had been doing something wrong. And as a result, I wasted a good deal of time using tools that really were suboptimal for what I needed to do with them. So, all right. So for anyone just joining us, if you want to leave comments below, questions or anything like that you want to hear me talk about, definitely leave them there. I'm just kind of rambling and choosing whatever topic kind of comes to mind. So, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Lord of the Rings stuff. I had a chance to go through a little bit more of the books, and I've been checking out some of the online communities for it. And once you get past the fact that so many people seem to be freaking out about the fact that Games Workshop is reboxing to re-release a whole bunch of Lord of the Rings products, I have to admit it's getting me more and more interested. Like, I just got through reading stuff about the fate points, the whale points, and all that sort of stuff, and it's quite a neat setup for how everything works. I like the idea of using the might points to modify rolls and whatnot. I like the will points being used as almost like a form of mana or magic points. And just in general, I like the system so far. Okay, we got to find the right thing here. Okay, so there's the right one. And it does not seem to have the rough elements of Hero Hammer that I was afraid of, because it looks like there are ways to mitigate some of the more obnoxious elements of Hero Hammer in the game, which I eagerly look forward to trying out, because it looks like weight of dice and weight of combat is a huge factor in this, and you can easily swamp a hero with a number of smaller mobs. And I think that was a little bit too much glue. Yeah, that was a bit too much glue. You can swamp them with a bunch of mobs, and basically just try and take them down that way through forcing things like knocking them backwards or just overwhelming them and whatnot. I love the use of spearmen and pikemen to sort of back up to back up your guys a little bit as well. Now, it still feels like the game is designed to have the heroes win for either side more often than not. But I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, it can be rough, I think, but as long as it's not one of those like only they win type thing, like it's nice to know that there is some elements of usefulness for the little guys. And I think, having looked at a little bit more, where the Middle Earth strategy battle game is basically like using your little guys to try and take things. Right. All right, sorry about that, guys. Went dead there for a little moment. Not entirely sure what happened. Probably just had something to do with the absolutely terrible internet connection I have where I film. But yeah, as I was saying, like, you know, it seems like the strategy for the Middle Earth game is more using your little guys to basically control the ebb and flow of the battle. So these guys end up being how you... Oh, jeez. I'm going to have to hold this one for a minute. So the little guy's using to basically, you know, dictate who goes where and setting up choke points at various places, trying to eliminate their little guys first. It's actually almost kind of MOBA-like, which is kind of interesting. So what is that, like multiplayer online battle arena? So things like a Dota or anything like that. You got your heroes, which are, you know, they're the ones who are going to get work done, but you got your little guys who can still influence the game, but they can do some interesting things along the way. And I think that was one of the big factors that I was kind of overlooking the first time through when I was looking at the game. I went into it with the wrong mindset. Because since then, and looking at it with this new perspective, the game itself makes a lot more sense now. So your heroes can still be swamped and taken down by mobs, but the whole idea is that they're not supposed to be taken down by your little mobs. You're supposed to take the heroes down with your own heroes, but the mobs are just supposed to make that a little bit easier to take care of. At least that's my understanding. Because, I mean, you obviously got your heroic actions that you can do with your heroes to try and clear out some chafe and get them into combat a little bit faster. And obviously they're always going to be a little bit tougher. But you know, you have one or two little guys backing up your hero, for instance, and that can make a big difference. That can be the difference between your hero succeeding and doing that cool heroic move, or, you know, it could be your hero succumbing to, you know, a bunch of arrows simply because you bit off more than you could chew. Like if you're outnumbered and, you know, the other person has the priority token. So it's interesting that way, and I think when presented with the game like that, it makes for an interesting puzzle, because you have to look at what your opponent is running, and you have to see where you can make the best use of your hero, because obviously you're going to have some heroes that are not quite as effective as other heroes. Maybe you've brought a couple, you know, heroes of valor. They brought a couple hero of legend or something, and you know, you make the best of what you can do. And the trade-off is maybe you have more mobs running around to his big guy. Like, for instance, if I bring the Witch King on Fellbeast, I think I'm looking at upwards of like 140 points or 150 points or something like that. Somebody could easily just swamp me with a bunch of minor heroes. Now, sure, the Witch King is going to be a much tougher guy to take on for these minor heroes, but it also means they're probably going to have a lot more control over the ebb and flow of combat, and that could be a big deal for a lot of people. Now, I haven't looked too much into the nature of like scenarios and objectives with this game yet, so I can't really speak much to that. But if that is an element of the game that plays into the overall grand scheme of things, this thing's clogged again. So you're seeing me do this a couple times here, and all I'm doing is I'm just clearing out the excess glue that gets stuck in the pipe. So always make sure that you're holding this with something like clippers or tweezers or something. You don't want to be holding it directly; it gets hot. Speaking from experience. Just had to take some water there. What are we looking at? Cool down a bit? Yeah, it's cooled down. Yeah, so you want to make sure that it's cold to the touch by the time you get right back in there. But it is the most effective way. There's actually a video of this on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. It's a quick video on how to take care of clogs and whatnot in your glue dispenser. And yeah, like I said, like you're seeing me do it a number of times here. It's just a simple matter of taking your clippers, tweezers, whatever you want to hold them with, applying some fire to it. So you can use a lighter. I use a barbecue lighter just because it's a little bit easier for me. And just run it up and down until you actually just clear it free. All right, those wings are totally going to come off at some point. All right, what's next? We got the tail. Okay, so let's get the tail going here. So I don't think I'm going to get nearly as much done on this video as I intended. I was hoping to finish it off with one of the Gondor heroes. Or not Gondor, sorry, Rohan heroes. The excellent looking Theodin model that came with the Battle of Pelennor Fields. Just because it is a stunning model. I absolutely love it. And, you know, even though I don't really plan on playing Rohan, it's a model I want to build and paint just because the detail on it is fantastic and it looks great. Right. In fact, I originally thought about trying to split the box with somebody, with the one stipulation that I was just looking for Mordor stuff and, the rule book, and Theodin. But I guess because Theodin is a new model, everyone wants Theodin. So I was not able to secure any deals that did not involve me giving up Theodin. So here I am with my own box set of it. But you know what? It's not too bad. It means I do have another force that I can figure out and learn to play if I so choose, which is never bad. Oh, look at this model. This is a great model. Like, look at the detail. Look, it's actually got like the veins on the wings and whatnot, which is really kind of cool. You can see the scales on the model itself. Again, really neat. Just in general, this is an awesome looking model. And I just realized I should have like a little clear stand for it, and I don't know where that is, so I'll have to find that. But that is great. So let's see if I can put this down without him breaking apart. And let's see, what's the time? So I got 15 minutes. All right. You know what? Let us finish the Witch King, because that's clearly who I'm going to be putting on this, not some other schlub of a Nazgul. It's the Witch King that gets to go on here. But I won't glue him on if I can avoid that, because that way I can always put a different guy on there if I so choose. Alright, so let's see here. So the Witch King does have a flaming sword, it looks like. So let's give him that flaming sword. Okay. And let's see here. So we got... So one arm looks to be holding the reins, I believe. And what is this? This is his little crown piece, I guess. Okay, yeah, I see how that goes on there. We got a little crown piece, kind of like Jughead. And Sauron is his Archie. And that's a really weird analogy that I've just made that I will now not be able to get out of my head. So there we go. Oh, I hate these little pieces. I always, especially when I'm dealing with a dull blade, which unfortunately I am at the moment. I'm always paranoid that I'm going to cut a little bit too deep, and I'm going to get the little detailed pieces flecked off, and that's never any good for anyone involved. Happens to me all the time with some more detailed pieces. I'm trying to think of whenever I'm dealing with like Kingdom Death pieces, for instance, on their resin models, I lose quite a bit of pieces to that, to just either, you know, trying to cut a little too hard, trying to force my way through, or a little bit more, and it is frustrating, especially when dealing with resin, because resin is obviously a lot more fragile than the hard plastic that we're dealing with here. So let's see here, get this cleaned up. Okay. I have to say, this was definitely another one of the models that really made a very strong, compelling argument to try the game out. I don't know why, but for some reason the good heroes just never really spoke to me the same as the Mordor stuff. Maybe that's because I play good stuff in virtually everything else. So maybe just getting to play on the evil side for once was kind of a nice change of pace. But yeah, just getting to check out the bad guys was just kind of fun. Alright, so let's see, how is this going on here? Oh, that's totally not right. Alright, I think I got it right there. Okay. So look at this cool little guy here. Got the shadows all over the place. Alright, so that is the Witch King. So let us get the reins put together, I guess. Alright. So, what do we got here? So there's 2 sets of reins. Which ones do I need? I think it's these short ones I need. Because the Witch King's mount has the head that's kind of reared back a little bit. Alright. There we go. And this piece is kind of stubborn. Yeah, this is exactly the type of piece that I'm afraid that I'm going to damage whenever I start cutting at it. Just because of how fragile it is. And then, of course, once it's broken, sure, you can repair it, but it becomes a little bit of a nightmare to do so. And you always kind of lose the integrity of the plastic after that. So, you know, here's a hobby tip for those who don't already do it, but change your blades often. Don't do what I'm doing. Don't work with a dull blade. It goes back to what I was saying. It's about using the right tools. It will just make your day that much harder. So there we go. Just cut off some of that piece there. And okay, there's another one right there. And always leave Conan behind. What you can do with the knives, you don't really need a whole lot of force, unless, of course, you are dealing with a dull blade and you have to really brute force your way through things. But when it comes to dealing with these more fragile bits, let your tool do more of the work. Even if it takes just a couple seconds longer. If you have to shave off a little bit of the bit first, before you actually remove the flash, it will preserve your bit a lot more, which is good. Yeah, and as you can see there, I actually did a little bit of stress to the bit there. So that's exactly why you got to be a little bit more careful. So let us see here. How does the reins work on this? So I think, okay, let's see here. So I guess what happens is we go back to where that bit is on here. And I think this might be something that I just do off camera, because I think this might otherwise be a pain. So let's see here. Yeah, so this might be an off-camera sort of thing. So I'm going to call him done for the time being. I will take care of the reins a little bit later off camera. But yeah, there we go. That's kind of cool. So, and he falls over. So I will take a look at that. But that's the Witch King and the Troll done today for the most part. Obviously, we got a little bit more work that needs to be done. He's just going to fall over no matter what. So yeah, that is where we're at for this. Let's see, 10 minutes remaining. Let's get the base cut out here. And maybe I will take a quick shot at Theodin and see what I can come up with on him. See if maybe I can get him done before. But first, we'll get this base cleaned. Alright. Just a little bit of flashing that comes off. And then I'll have to find the plastic sprue that goes with this. Okay. So let's flip this over and let's take a look at what we need to do for Theodin. You know, let's keep it simple. We will try to get Theodin done here. We're just going to do Theodin on foot, I think. So, Theodin on foot. There's the front of his torso. And let's see. The back of him is... yeah, that's got to be it right here. That'd be a very awkward pose for somebody on a horse. Okay, so that is the front and back. And there should be, let's see. I should be looking for like a little piece of barding, which this appears to be it right here. Okay, excellent. So let's get the body put together. All right. So just while I'm finishing up this piece, I gotta say, like the future of Games Workshop is looking very, very positive to me. I think just in general, we've been seeing just some absolutely fantastic changes to the hobby and or not to the hobby, but to the way they're doing business. There are obviously still some concerns coming up. Like obviously, for anyone who's been paying attention to it, there's the issue with the Warhammer Citadel in Texas that have made a rather surprising announcement in regards to the use of third-party bases used on models for in their store. Now, I don't know if this just applies to their events, or if this is just carte blanche and it doesn't matter if it's casual play or if it's event play. But for anyone not keeping up at home, basically what the problem is they have basically outlawed the use of third-party anything for oh, I got some glue on the back there, and this is plastic glue no less, so that's going to ruin some of the detail. That's unfortunate. Oh geez, I cut myself there. And it's really kind of unfortunate to see that sort of thing, because I mean, Games Workshop, I would say their weakest line is very much bases. They don't have a whole lot out there, and they've kind of fallen back on the idea of using the texture paints as almost like a crutch to sort of defend themselves from having this product on the market. And it's just kind of unfortunate as a result. I think that it's very much a missed opportunity, and I think people have done some absolutely amazing stuff with their third-party bases. Let's see, do I want a helmeted face or not? Ooh, I don't know if I want to do the helmeted head or not. And it's just really, really unfortunate that is the stance that they decided to take with it, because so many people have third-party bases. I mean, anything from like Warsenal or MicroArt Studios, or from other companies and whatnot, are just all of a sudden out in the cold as far as using their armies in these official areas, and it's just, I don't know. It just seems very short-sighted. It seems very much like the old school Games Workshop mentality, not the newer, more accepting one. Now, granted, these guys are still a business, and understandably, they got to sell their product as well. But when their product line, at least as far as bases go, is so limited, it really seems odd that they don't have some more wiggle room on what they allow. especially considering Warhammer World has a different stance on the use of third-party bases than the Citadel does, in that they care more about the model being predominantly Games Workshop than the base. Because in the end, I mean, the base is just something that the guys are on. It's not the be-all, end-all. But in the end, though, it is their call, being their business, their place and whatnot. And something I've said for a long time is Games Workshop is in a rather unique position as far as being one of the few places or few companies that both has their own store as well as being the manufacturers of the product. And that definitely creates some conflicts as we go forward, right? So okay, let's see here. So I got to figure out how this shield goes on. Okay. Well, let's take a quick look at the time here. Okay, so I got a couple minutes. Let's see if I can polish this guy off. So let's take a quick look at what I need to do on the shield. And oh, I grabbed the wrong shield. That was the problem. Okay. Looks like I grabbed the shield for the mounted Theodin as opposed to the Theodin on foot, because there is a little hole in this one that looks like I can apply the glue and stick his hand into. So let us do that. And it looks like it doesn't matter which way I put it here, so that's kind of nice. Oh, come on, glue. Just work with me for a couple more minutes. There we go. Okay. And you know what? Helmeted Theodin head just looks so much cooler. So we are going to go with helmeted Theodin head. And I got to figure out which helmeted head it is that I go with. So it looks like I go with 8, 9. Oh, here's actually a great example. So these ones have the numbers on it, as opposed to the other sprue for the Witch King, which did not. And it's a nice little touch, but when dealing with lots of little pieces here, it's a very much a welcome one. If you're building by the manual. Now, of course, if you're doing any sort of custom work or kit bashing and whatnot, then obviously go to town however you like. Because in that matter, or in that case, it's not going to matter all that much, because you're obviously doing your own thing. But it is always nice to remove as much of the guesswork as possible. Come on, glue. Oh, this glue is so done. Oh man, yeah, this is the worst part about using the Games Workshop glue. Yeah, you know, it's not coming out, so I think I got to call it at that point. So there we go. We are pretty much at the end of the hour. For everyone who stopped by, said hello, just checked things out, thank you so much for coming by. I do plan on doing this again next week, so definitely swing on by. I'm going to try and set a more regular time. 4 o'clock just had to be the time this weekend just because of things going on in life. But yeah, so let's take a look at what we accomplished. So we got the Fellbeast put together with a little bit of the wing coming off. Crud. Okay, I'm going to have to fix that. Or just prop him up on something. We'll just prop him up there for now. So the Fellbeast got done. We got the Troll done. Most of Theodin, the Witch King, just got to do the reins kicking around now. But yeah, so got some decent work done on these guys. Going to keep plugging away. For the most part, like aside from some odds and ends on the Witch King and Nazgul, I'm pretty much done assembling the Mordor side of things. So next week we are going to take a look at the Rohan side of things, and we're gonna put together as many of the Riders of Rohan and the Warriors of Dead as we can. So yeah, thank you all for swinging by, saying hello, asking questions, whatnot. So once again, next week probably gonna try for around 3 o'clock or so. But I will definitely let everyone know. So be sure to pay attention to the Facebook page on this one. That is Painting by Leland Martell or Aegisbrand Studios. You can find it either way. And of course, you can always leave some comments, questions, and all this sort of stuff on that page. I'm always looking for more stuff to talk about. And yeah, of course, I'll put a copy of this up on YouTube as well for later viewing for anyone who is interested. And of course, take a look at the comments there as well. And if you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. So thank you all for watching, and as always, happy wargaming.